This audio file aims to basically look into the music video itself and to discuss its effectiveness paired with the auxiliary tasks, which were a newspaper ad, or a magazine ad, and a digipack. Our music video is based quite heavily on my personal experiences with bullying through the early years of my life. Hence, we have a kid, a bully, and another kid who ends up giving into peer pressure. That is a similar story to what I've gone through in my life. And this story is basically supposed to be realistic as possible. We wanted it to really portray the real world and make the audience question how much they know about events that go on in schools if they haven't experienced it themselves. So there's quite a lot of emphasis on shock value, but the main theme that we went for, which we really want to hammer home with our auxiliary tasks, is simplicity. This video is set in school. It is a school project, and we wanted to really utilise that. So a lot of what we made is quite simple, quite basic. A lot of our shots and editing has been kept as simple as possible, both to save time and to carry this theme. And both our auxiliary tasks go along with this idea of being basic and simple, yet powerful and memorable. So our music video is quite plain, quite boring. There isn't too much going on in terms of out there ideas. It's one basic narrative story. And because of it, with just continuity editing, a little bit of shot over shot, or shoulder over shoulder, it's not really anything too eye-catching. It is supposed to feel like you want to look away and you don't want to see what's been going on, but we are forcing you to watch these events and to basically be in the same situation as the kid who is being bullied. So the main themes are quite dark, it's quite depressing, and this does carry over to our auxiliary tasks. Our advert is extremely basic. All we have is a few pictures of the different characters and the titles splattered around the page. But that's what we want. We don't want to stick out. We want to be the one that people look at and question. Again, it's supposed to be having the theme of being created in a school. So if you look in a magazine and you have all these outlandish adverts and suddenly you see just this basic one, you look at it and think, what does this really mean? Again, this is another theme of ours. We wanted the audience to take what they wanted away. By not imposing anything much, the audience only looks at the advert and is left to think what they feel it means. Because it's just literally a plain background with the pictures on. It's obviously dark and it's depressing, and we have a few different shots. We have one on there with the bully and another kid being friends. We have one with the kid on his own, who's the main singer, which is why we had him on his own. And we have one with the kids with his mate laughing. It's a mixture of emotions that the audience, without actually looking into the CD, looking at the advert, would just think, wow, what is trying to be portrayed here? Is this depressing? Is this sad? Is it a sad story going good? Is it a good story going bad? And they look into it, going right back to our music video, gaining us another watcher. The digipack is obviously a little bit different, because the digipack is meant to be what comes with the CD. So with the intent of people seeing the advert first, the digipack is supposed to sort of finalise what the audience expect. Just having the kid on the front, who's on his own, he's clearly sad and depressed, is a real sudden awakening to the actual theme of being dark and depressing. And the dark background also emphasises this. The title work on our digipack is bold and bright because we need people to see our work. So it's in a different colour of red, but even the colour red is normally seen as aggressive and angry and dangerous. So all of these units connected together create quite a dark and depressing feel, but you only would get that once you got the CD. And once you started watching the music video, you'd realise, wow, this is actually quite realistic, and does this actually happen, is hopefully the question we get when people watch our video. And that's kind of what we're going for. We want as I've said before, we want the audience to question their own understanding of life and schooling, and really appreciate either how well they got it, how much worse it could have been, or just to appreciate that some other people out there have gone through similar experiences to the individual. We really want the audience to connect with our video and not want to watch it in a way, yet feel forced and obliged to watch it so that they can understand what pain some people go through in school, like myself. Combined together, with all the units, with all the things we've done, it's a very basic feel. It's quite easy to understand and easy to watch because we want everyone to be able to watch our video. It's quite dark and depressing, with the advert being the exception here because it's a bit confusing, so you feel like you're obliged to look into it and learn more. And just in general, the whole colour consistency, costume consistency, so on and so forth, works together between the shots so that they can all be directly linked back to our band. I think it's gone very well. I think it is very effective. If I were to do this again, I would actually look into doing a bit more of a different background to our adverts and digipacks. I think we could have had, if we had more time, we could have had maybe the school as a background for both of them, because that would have just been that final point that tied them all together, because you obviously have the digipack and the advert, which is dark and depressing, but the actual video is actually quite light. There isn't a lot of dark shots in there at all, if there is any. So if I were to do it again, I would have the digipack and the advert have the school in the background, not just a plain background. But other than that, that's how all our units work together. Both our auxiliary tasks, being the advert and the digipack, and our music video all tie in together with similar themes and similar ideas.